But here we go. Jaylen is super hi-fi pissed off. And he went to the sideline still mad about this whole thing. He's like, look, man, they went left, then they went right. Somebody's got to go out there. I can't. Come on.
What's
now.
up, YouTubers? Chad Wilson here with you again with another breakdown. DBs versus wide receivers. This time it's Jalen Ramsey versus Davonte Adams. Overwhelmingly, that's what you guys wanted to see. But before I jump into that, let's handle a little business here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell so you're notified the next time I put out one of these DB versus wide receiver videos or anything having to do with playing defensive back, college football, recruiting, etc. Because that's all what we're about on this channel. Now, overwhelmingly, this is what you guys said you wanted to see. Davonte Adams versus Jalen Ramsey. I had the poll up in my community tab, and overwhelmingly, you guys voted out of all of the potential matchups that we could have on the island this week, this was the one you wanted to see, and I was right there with you. However, if you watched this game, you had to be a little disappointed in the fact that we didn't get that traditional island matchup very often between Davonte Adams and Jalen Ramsey. Reason why? The Green Bay Packers schemed their way out of that. You know what? I'm not mad at them. This time of year, it's all about wins. Win and advance. So why didn't we get that matchup? It's because the Green Bay Packers kind of schemed their way up to keeping the matchup between Adams and Jalen Ramsey happening on the island. So we'll talk about that in the breakdown. Let's talk about the stats in this one. Davonte Adams ends up with 9 catches for 66 yards on 10 targets and a touchdown. An effective day, yes. Was it an overwhelming day? No. There was a little bit of nickel and diming, and like I said, he was schemed out of the one-on-one matchups most of the time. He was also a decoy early in this game too, so it was interesting to see that. But again, not mad at the Packers because it opened up some other guys who cashed the check. And at the end of the day, the Packers are the ones that advanced, and they're going to the NFC Championship game with a really good chance to play in the Super Bowl. I do, as it stands right now, like them to win and move on to the Super Bowl. So kudos to them for what they were able to go out there and do. Was I a little surprised by the game plan by the Packers? Yeah, I was. I thought they liked their chances with Davonte Adams one-on-one versus Jalen Ramsey. But again, I'm taking my hat off to them because I'm a guy that likes X's and O's and scheming, and what they were able to do into the game was quite effective. And especially, we'll see on the touchdown that we're going to have in the matchup and the breakdown, how they were able to scheme their way into a pretty easy touchdown with Jalen Ramsey in coverage, so to speak. We'll talk about it. I'm sure you guys saw it if you watched the game. If you didn't, you're going to get a treat out of seeing what the Packers were able to do to get Adams wide open in the red zone for a touchdown that kind of spearheaded the way things went in this contest. But for the Rams, a great season. There are no moral victories, but they played great team defense all year long. Can't say enough about what they did on that side of the ball, and for guys like Darius Williams, and he did make a great play in the game that I'll break down. Coming up, being strong. So if the Rams can get things kind of figured out on offense, we'll see what they have going on. But for now, let's get into the matchup. Jalen Ramsey versus Davonte Adams on Matchup Breakdown. For your son, cause mama, you had Jewish. For this, they standing in this cold rain. Let's pull the cover off on this thing. For those of you that tuned into this game, like I said, hoping to see a traditional mano-a-mano matchup between Davonte Adams and Jalen Ramsey, you came away disappointed. But that still doesn't mean we can't love what we saw in this game. We can't find it interesting. The Green Bay Packers were interested in winning a football game, and the Rams were too. But you just got to love the strategy that was used here, and it's the difference between the Green Bay Packers the last 2 seasons and what may have been happening in the past. No shot at Mike McCarthy, but it seems that the Packers are better schematically on the offensive side of the ball than they were with the previous regime that was in there, and we're going to get a good idea of that in this game. It started off pretty quick off the bat that we weren't going to get that traditional one-on-one matchup. This is early in the game right here, and what you're going to notice is that the Packers were set out to take advantage of the fact that Jalen Ramsey will not go inside. He's not going to go cover in the slot. So, I think the Rams had to expect at least some of that they would just line Davonte Adams up inside at a number 2 or number 3 receiver, and he would be able to avoid Jalen Ramsey in those cases.
However, I don't think they expected the level of creativity that the Packers deployed here. Here we have a 3-by-1 set. So there's 3 receivers, as you can see in this area right here. 1, 2, 3. Let me take that down. 2, 3, and we've got a tight end to this side. Why the tight end? Well, you got the tight end because that would take Darius Williams off of the coverage here, and it wouldn't, Williams is not going to cover this tight end, and that's going to allow Davonte Adams to travel across the formation here, and that's going to put him on Darius Williams as opposed to Jalen Ramsey, who's lined up on the outside here on the right, and that's what we get pretty early in this game, and the Packers go there with the football, and this is how they kick things off here. And a little quick out just to kind of get an idea of what they were going to get. And, of course, they got a completion and a first down of this one. Devonta Adams is flexing up. So this is what we ended up getting here right off the bat. So right off the bat, you're going to see what it is. And it's just a little simple route. Adams attacks the outside shoulder, gets his kill. It wasn't even on Darius Williams. So that one happened to be on Troy Hill. So they even got something better in that particular case. So let me just run this back. Let's just run this back and take a look at it here and to see why exactly that did happen. So apparently we did get an over, right? So, yep. Nope, not entirely sure. I was looking for something here. Didn't get what I thought. But nevertheless, that's what they ended up getting. And, the Packers told you pretty early in the game that they were going to do some things different here, and they were going to play to their advantages and their strengths, and they were just out to win a football game and not necessarily a one-on-one matchup. Football is the ultimate team game. All right, so we're down here later on in this drive, and I'm pointing this out because this did end up being a situation where Ramsey was one-on-one with Davonte Adams, and you're going to notice if we just take a look at Aaron Rodgers here, he doesn't even really look at Adams. All right, it just seemed the Packers had no interest, at least early on, in trying to attack one-on-one matchups between Ramsey and Davonte Adams, at least not the one-on-one matchups of the traditional sense. What you will notice in the replay, though, as we watch Aaron Rodgers just come off of the right side, come back over to the left side and try to hit Scantling, which was incomplete. But let's take a look at what happened over here. Devonta Adams hits him with the skip at the top. Ramsey playing with poor eyes here. If you want to know if a guy's playing with poor eyes, you could be standing behind a defensive back and still know that he's playing with poor eyes when he does this, throws the hand out. How many times have you seen a DB do that? Just throw the hand out. It is almost an immediate signal that the eyes sends to the brain to say, hey, we need help here, and activates the hand. And the hand's just thrown out there, but Ramsey's beat on this, but Aaron Rodgers is a veteran. Why go and try and fit this ball over one DB's head, which is right here, and hope that I can get it into Davonte Adams before Ramsey gets over? Why play around with that? Came off of it pretty quickly. Like I said, didn't have any interest. And to be honest, if you really looked at Aaron Rodgers on this, if you look at him, he briefly looked out there, but he wasn't really even looking at Davonte Adams. Certainly wasn't waiting for this to happen. And I'm going to play this in a faster motion so you can get an idea of what happened. I mean, he did have him, but he had made up his mind he wasn't really going there unless something drastic happened. And so he didn't. All right, pass is incomplete. I believe they settled for 3 on this drive. And here's the reason why. I'm just putting this play in here because this isn't really Davonte Adams versus Jalen Ramsey, but I just threw it in here because this was a good piece of defense by a linebacker, Troy Reeder. I want you guys to just isolate your eyes on him. This is how you pick up a crosser. So many times you'll see a linebacker just let that guy go or be very lazy on latching on, and a guy will get into this area right here, which is where Aaron Rodgers expected to complete this pass for a touchdown. And that play gets completed a lot more times than not because linebackers are lazy. The Rams play really good defense, and they are, all year long they were really good on the details. In the replay, you're going to get to see what I'm talking about. Here is the shallow coming. He latches onto it, knocks the ball out. And if we could go back, he gets a hand on that. Now, I mean, Aaron Rodgers was pissed about this. You know, as we see Aaron on this particular play after this, he's not happy about what happened here. He says, catch the freaking, yes, he said freaking, catch the freaking ball. But on the replay, you're going to see that Reader got a hand on this thing. And again, testament to him. Another thing you do see is when there's a shallow crosser like this, teams will come and run a guy back here. And that happened to be Davante Adams, who's being covered by Jalen Ramsey. But the Rams, playing good team defense, have a guy right there in that hole. They know this. They know down here they're going to get those crossers with a sit-down route right behind it, and they're all ready for it. They're just not going to give that thing up. You see that up top, they've got Davante Adams well covered on that one, while Troy Reader knocks the ball out of Lazard's freaking hands. All right, moving on in this matchup. And I didn't really edit this part, but let's just move forward on this one, and this is the play that caught a lot of people's attention. It's the touchdown to Davante Adams. And let's talk about this one because there's a lot to unpack in just this one play. Again, as I told you, early on in this matchup, the Packers weren't really interested in doing the whole traditional mano-a-mano thing. They wanted to win a football game. So here we are. They've got Adams lined up wide to, well, not wide to the right, but he's the outside guy in this formation. Ramsey's covering him on this one. And here's my belief on this, and I'll talk about it in the replay and some things that come down afterwards. I believe Adams was supposed to be lined up where he was, and the original play was just for him to go run a quick out. Now, Ramsey had been lining up to the right. Maybe the Packers felt, okay, Ramsey's just going to stay on the right side, and we'll get another corner, Darius Williams probably lined up on the left, and we'll be able to just run this route, which will be a quick out into the front part of the end zone. We'll throw it real quick, and we'll run off and get an easy touchdown. Now, when he sees Ramsey, I believe in his infinite wisdom, and he's got a lot of years in the league, and he and Adams have a great communication and relationship. He sends Adams across the formation. Ramsey follows. All right. That gives him the information they want. Now, Davonte Adams needs to come back to where he was to run the original play. But what has happened here is he's put Jalen Ramsey on the move. And now this becomes an easier completion because they're going to be able to do this. Takes right back off to the original position, runs the original route, I believe, wide open. And now you see Jalen Ramsey going crazy. He's going absolutely nuts. He's going completely berserk on his guy here. And I'm not even sure that that's what he needed to be doing. Because, let's take a look at this. Now, I believe there may have been some kind of call they had going on during the week that if they tried to hide Davonte Adams from Jalen Ramsey and sent him in fast motion, especially down here in a goal line situation, and Ramsey found himself having to run across the formation, he could make a call to this man right here, whatever that may be, a push call, and that would send this guy who's already there outside wide to take on Davonte Adams, which is not ideal, but when you go in motion like that, sometimes the route tree is condensed, so it's a little easier for a guy to cover him. And Ramsey, who would be laid over here, would now pick up this second guy inside. But I don't know that they had a call for this, which is Adams running over to this side, stopping, and then coming back, because I'm here to tell you this guy probably relaxed once Adams went away. He forgot about all that. And he may have just thought that this isn't on. And that may have been the case. I'm not here to say that Ramsey was right away. Just because he was yelling and stomping doesn't mean that he was right on this. But it's just an example of how the Packers schemed their way out of the one-on-one matchup that the Rams wanted. And it resulted in a touchdown, an easy touchdown at that, in the red zone for the Green Bay Packers. So if you're scoring at home, Adams 1, Ramsey 0. I hesitate to say that because of what the Packers did here. And again, I don't want to take anything away from them. They're interested in winning a game. But this is impossible. This is impossible. Okay, this is one of those impossible things to expect Jalen Ramsey to... I mean, he's hauling ass back over here, chasing Adams back across. I mean, he can't run any faster than this. There's a lot of traffic there, though. And traditionally, you just can't go running in front of linebackers at any time, let alone in the red zone. So there's nothing they could do there. Now, if they did have a push call on, this guy would run out here and get on Adams right now and take that out route away, and Ramsey would stop and pick up this guy. I mean, who knows if that would have even been successful either. May or may not have. Nevertheless, score one for the Pack in this matchup. So, carrying on. All right, let's talk about it because we're looking now at the replay on this. And this is just Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers. I'm smart. You know what? We had this quick out. I don't feel good about it with Ramsey staying there. I don't want him to get his hands on it and head down the sideline because none of us are going to catch him. Let's do something here. Hey, Devonte, come across. They probably talked about it during the week. I might send you in motion and then bring you back just to run the same. I truly believe that's what happened here. You guys let me know in the comments what you think, if you think this was the case. But I think they had the original route from a stationary position. And looking out here, I mean, look at Aaron literally staring Jalen Ramsey in the face, saying, I don't like that. Come on, Devontae, come across. I'm going to bring you back. But this, I promise you, Devontae, this is going to be more fun. Sprint back across, get out there in the flat. This is an old San Francisco play. They used to roll out on it. The 49ers used to. The 80s, the 49ers of the 80s, the Joe Montana 49ers had a play like that. And they rolled out to make it even harder. But here we go. Jaylen is super high-fi pissed off. And he went to the sideline still mad about this whole thing. He's like, look, man, they went left, then they went right. Somebody's got to go out there. I can't. Come on now. And there's the Packers kicking it off, right? Funny part is, here's these two guys afterwards. Yeah, we got them. We sent them to the left, then we send them to the right. And we got our points. There they are laughing about it. But again, the Packers did what they had to do early on to avoid those kind of matchups. Kudos to them. And again, you were disappointed if you wanted to see a traditional one-on-one matchup. Here's another thing that they did. Here's orbit motion now. This is Davonte Adams going in orbit motion. I mean, they're doing it all. Orbit motion. All right. He's originally lined up on Ramsey, but he won't stay lined up on Ramsey. Orbit motion is a pain in the rear end. The Rams are either in some kind of zone here or they just had some kind of check where they wouldn't, they're not going to go chase a guy in orbit motion. This looks to be a zone. Catch it, throw it right now. Part of the game plan. This is how we're going to avoid that one-on-one matchup. We don't, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they felt like it wasn't a strength for them. Or, you know what? We're just not even going to mess around with that stuff. Why do that? All right. Now, here's what we came to see. Mano a mano, in the true sense. This is Adams. This is Ramsey. Isn't this what we all came here to see? We came to see that. All right. And so the first time we actually get that, I mean, Jalen's been through a lot at this point with the motions and the argument on the sideline, et cetera, that he probably thought this was a trick. Not making excuses for the guy, but this was an, pretty easy slant he gives up here, overplaying the outside leverage. And Devontae gives him the patented skip release that everyone talks about, the whole crossover Allen Iverson business that has been getting a lot of attention this year. Skips, leaves him in there. And then for some reason, Jaylen decided not to squeeze. I guess he expected maybe Adams would come back out here. Or, you know what? Hey, guys, I screwed up. Can y'all fix this for me, please? You guys inside, take care of that. Get him on the ground, please. I promise if he comes back out here, I'll do something about it. Decided not to squeeze that. So there's that whole one-on-one matchup we were looking for. And Devontae's feeling himself, and he's not trying to hear from none of them. Slow motion of it, skip release. Jaylen jumps outside. eyes aren't right. And here I'm giving this nugget to you guys again. You coaches, you players, you see this lazy hand that's thrown out here by Jaylen? Very good indication that he let his eyes drift up. When you see your DB doing this, that's the eyes drifted up. All right? And that would also cause you to overplay a move like this because it's the shoulders moving. Look at the shoulders moving by Davonte Adams. And if your eyes are up high, that moves fast. It makes you jump outside. And it's easy pickings there. What's that? About 10, 12, 13 yards. All right? Aaron Rodgers is going to hit him in the numbers every time. And, again, a win for Devontae. Look at him, feeling himself. All right? Telling the Ram defense, well, look, your guy didn't even jam me, but if he did jam me, that's what it would have looked like. I would have just did him just like that. Look at him. Devontae's feeling himself. Get your hands off me, player. We running this. Pack Nation. All right, moving on. As I slide through this thing here. Guess this is another example of the Packers hiding the Rams, hiding Davonte Adams from the mano-a-mano coverage. And what do they do in this particular one? They're going to take advantage of the other guy's weakness. And if you've watched Darius Williams all year, and if you paid attention last week, he jumped a screenplay by the Seattle Seahawks, turned it into 6 points. He's a very aggressive corner that watches film, pays attention to little things, and he's the kind of guy that's, when he gets an itch, he's going to go scratch. So what do? Of course, they put Davonte Adams in here at 3. They know Jalen's not going to come in here and line up on him. If we motion him from that 3 over to this side where we've got a guy tight, we can get him singled up on Mr. Jumper Route Darius Williams. So what are they going to do? We hit you with an out earlier at the beginning of the game. So what do? We're going to hit you with an out and up. Let me clear that stuff out of the way there for you. Sure enough, that's the route we hit you on. Oh, no. We're going to go up top. Hit him with the out and up. And Rodgers dunks it in there in between the safety and the corner like few others can. We're going to see it on the replay. Taking advantage of film study, the Packers, and a route that they set up earlier. Out and up, easy pickings, drops it in there. On Darius Williams, who's played great ball this year. I don't want to take anything away from him. In fact, I'm going to talk about a play he made later on in the game that was excellent. But, again, a great game plan by the Packers as they avoided the mano-a-mano stuff between these two. All right? Here's another traditional one-on-one matchup at the top of the screen. Adams here, Ramsey here. And we're going to get another skip release slant route. That gets completed. And I think Jaylen was pretty much willing to give these up in the game. I think if he had the kind of game where he just had a traditional lineup outside with Davonte Adams, he would have been fine with just giving up a few slants so long as we're not giving up fades and back shoulder fades. He felt like he would win. So he came in with that plan, and lo and behold, these were the only routes he got. Here's another one for 7 yards and a completion. So if we're talking traditional man-to-man matchups that we all come to, know and love and we're looking for, 2 completions in those situations for Davonte Adams. 2 targets, 2 completions. That's where we're at so far in this thing. But again, I'm going to say it once again and take my hat off to the Green Bay Packers scheming their way into a situation that was advantageous for them. All right? And so to close things out, and this is so, the Packers showing that they just weren't going to run down the field with Jalen Ramsey. It's just not a situation they felt like they were going to win in. And they get Jaylen playing off, man-to-man situation. They hit him with a right now. They hit Davonte Adams with a right now. Hey, let's see if you can shake him, get what you can. Nice little shake. Did shake him. There's that skip release even after catching the ball to shake Jaylen here and then pick up 8-9 yards on the play. So that's a success for the Packers. You know, they feel like they won in this, and I don't know how Jaylen feels about it. You know, probably not very happy about it, but nevertheless, this is what it amounts to. So we had 8 yards there, maybe 15 yards on the first completion, 7 on the second. All told, in the traditional mano-a-mano matchups, 3 catches for 30 yards for Davonte Adams versus Jalen Ramsey. But that's 3 targets for 3 catches, 30 yards. There you go. There you have it. So that's what we got, but that's not exactly the numbers that we ended up with. I talked about it in the opener about Davonte Adams' actual numbers and what he did against Jalen Ramsey, but, you know, there were some funny things here. All right, so let's talk about what, you know, I do want to talk about this play because Darius Williams has played great all year long, and I just want to talk about this play that he made here because there's so many good things that took place in this play, and for the average fan, they just don't realize how difficult a play this is. Williams is at the top of the screen in coverage here, and first of all, you know, great patience at the line of scrimmage that he's going to show, holds his leverage, gets on a guy's hip, reaches around, knocks this ball away. Folks, I'm here to tell you that's a very difficult play to make. All right, and I'm going to show you even more about it on the replay because it may look easy, it's not easy. Okay, first of all, the patience at the line of scrimmage. All right, he's already aligned outside. Not going to panic off of anything you give me. All right, didn't care about the shimmy given at the line of scrimmage. Turns, gets vertical, gets on his hip, and as the ball comes, makes contact. Now you got to have, he's closed out all the space on the wide receiver, gets as close as he can, times that jump, gets a hand on it, knocks it away. Man, that's picture perfect. Picture perfect. You know, you'd love to have an interception there, but that's not always possible. So I'm going to take my hat off to Darius Williams and the play that he made on that one. He was solid all year long. Too bad Jalen Ramsey, and the rest of the Rams aren't. I love defensive football. They played it well, but they just were overmatched in this game against a very good Packers team who, in my opinion, is going to be in the Super Bowl and would probably win it. If I had to pick today, I would pick the Packers to win the Super Bowl. But again, if you, for the last and final time, if you tuned into this game looking for the traditional matchup, and everyone was looking for that. Matter of fact, I put a poll up in my YouTube community asking which matchup folks were most excited to see, and overwhelmingly it was Davonte Adams versus Jalen Ramsey. So you guys can let me know in the comments how you feel. Were you disappointed by the way the Packers approached this? Whether you were disappointed or not, I got to take my hat off to them. You're there to win a football game. They just did not feel, I think the Packers did not feel that just lining Davonte Adams up out wide majority of the game and trying to beat Jalen Ramsey on vertical routes was the way they needed to go to win a football game, and so they avoided that. They put him in motion. They lined him up inside, and they did some quirky things. They threw the slant routes because they felt like that's the one route lined up outside that he could beat him on, and then, you know, they threw the right now, and so that's what it amounted to. At the end of the day, though, Pack win 32 to 14, and they're advancing, and they're going to move on to the NFC Championship game. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, don't forget, give this a like, give it a share, and you guys definitely need to subscribe if you haven't to this channel. Doing defensive back breakdowns, defensive back how-tos, as well as for you youngsters that are, you know, in high school, playing high school football, whether you're a defensive back, offensive lineman, whatever you are, giving recruiting advice and highlight video advice here. So definitely hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell so you're notified every time I put out a award-winning video like this one. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Until next time.